Day 8 here in Pamplona, the last chance to run with the Bulls of Death. Okay, Dennis, you've had some amazing runs. When you led the Bulls around the corner of Estafeta, the swelter ball that fell down, you got him back up, you led him around with just your fingers, no newspaper in your hand, you led him around with your fingers.
Flap up.
Then your Day 5 run. I'm not sure we've seen you move that fast again, ripping off your shirt as you ran down Mercaderes.
You're trying to get the Velcro off your pants, but it wouldn't come.
Another impressive run again today in the same section as always. Mercaderes, here he comes.
Talk us through it.
Yeah, I just wanted to hold the center. I didn't feel like the Bulls were really moving that fast, and so I had some good ability to look over my shoulder to be sure of where they were, but I was also very cautious of what happened yesterday where I fell down in the middle of the curve. So I took it to the inside. I wasn't moving that fast, and once I took them into the curve, I let them go.
These Bulls take that turn so well. It's like the Parabolica at Monza, but they take it fantastically.
You are Captain America, the first Avenger. Looking at that again, you pick them up, then you seem to get an extra burst of speed. Is that the adrenaline kicking in?
I think you're just very aware when that opens up and you feel like you got a pocket in front of the Bulls, that's when you're most free to run, and that's when you take off.
Now there you are, Dennis, right there. We're freezing on you right now. You are, what, 3 yards from the Bull's nose right there.
And this bull is called a swelto. It's a lone bull.
Yep.
It's separated from the herd.
Yeah.
It's lost its herding instinct. It looks around and it tries to attack. Can you talk about what goes through your mind as you approach a swelto?
I knew it was problematic to begin with, and so I kind of let it go past me. I was looking for the rest of the herd because I really wanted to lead the main herd behind it.
Rog, Davo, and the man between us, the real man between us, Dennis Clancey, joining us again today. You ran with the Bulls Day 1, you ran with the Bulls Day 2. You teach the young Americans, young foreigners, young people from all over the world how to run with the Bulls. You're an Army veteran, West Point, 101st Airborne. We are not worthy.
Phoenix, America's finest.
You used an expression describing it. You said Toro Bravo. Can you explain Toro Bravo?
Toro
What is
Bravo,
the Toro Bravo?
See, that's the bull that's been bred for hundreds of years. It's this fierce animal. It has specific characteristics that we've selectively bred into these bulls. They have those symmetrical horns, the huge morillo, the neck muscle that gives it a lot of power and allows it to completely destroy people.
We see Dennis Clancey right there. This is the section he runs every single day. There. Crossing.
Charging around the bull, trying to lead it on.
He's trying to lead the runners right there, Rog. Dennis Clancey trying to lead the runners up into Estafeta, and he continues his run.
When a bull gets loose, the truly great runners try and charge in front of it and lead it back into the pack. We will chat to Dennis in our recap show tonight and understand exactly what was going through his mind.
When we come back, Dennis, we want you to stick around. We want to talk about the specific area of the course right below us here on the Panic Balcony, La Curva, the curve, an area you know very well. You run it pretty much every day during Encierro. We're going to focus on La Curva.
And explain to us, why do they call it the curve of death, Dennis?
Why? Where would that come from? We'll be back with Dennis Clancey. Getting ready, rounding. This is a milder turn into Mercaderes. This is where we're going to see Dennis Clancey out ahead of the Bulls once more, right on the horns and around
life, leading around the corner. Stay up, Dennis!
Fantastic run from Dennis. Maggie following behind. And
American
now into
beauty.
Estafeta. Okay, through Town Hall into Mercaderes.
So they're into Mercaderes. I'm chasing Dennis Clancey. Probably. Oh, I see Dennis Clancey there.
Yeah.
A hero veteran and a hero of the run as well.
Absolute human carnage.
As Dennis, we see a great overhead shot here of Dennis Clancey leading the Bulls heroically up Estafeta. We got here to the Balcon del Panico.
I told you I could compress space and time.
And we got here very quickly, joined by Dennis Clancey, Arizonan super runner teacher. Had an amazing run in the Day 5 Encierro. We're going to see that. It was better than that.
America's sweetheart.
Pena bands blare their beautiful music behind us. So, injury updates. There were 4 gorings today, Rog, in a run that was described by the national newspaper El País as tumultuoso, sangriento y complicado. That is tumultuous, bloody, and complicated. That is a fantastic description of what we saw today. You tell your beginners not to go and run it.
Which
What is
it
it
seems
that
to be
makes
every
it?
section of the course, to be candid. You tell beginners, don't run it.
But what makes it so treacherous?
It's really nowhere safe, but Telefonica has a lot of problems with it. One, a lot of new runners get pushed up the route early. They get freaked out. You're going to have a tight density of people in that area. It widens so people think it's safe. It's got the barriers so people think they can jump out, but it's so dense around the sides of the course, you have nowhere to go, and people are falling on top of each other.
Yeah, and not only does it curve, it also leads to the downhill alley into the tunnel, into the arena.
Within a few seconds, you're going to be in the tunnel. So if you're in Telefonica, you're running the risk already. If you're still in front of the bulls, that you're going to end up going through the tunnel. That's the worst place. That's the most canalizing part of the route. A lot of falls, a lot of trips. We have some famous montons, mountains of people just falling on top of each other that always happen in that area.
So there's a dual threat here. You've got the density of runners, but you also have, this is normally the period of the run where the balls are broken open.
Yeah, that's true.
A real threat of loose balls.
Absolutely. I mean, the further we go down the route, the more probability there is that the herd is going to separate, right? The more chances we're going to have sueltos. That's where Bill Hillman was gored last year. That's where Daniel Romero was killed in 2009.
He tragically lost his life. And I must say, right under our broadcast position, where his family were putting up a wreath of flowers to him this morning, that was exactly where the worst injury that happened in today's run took place, right at that same spot.
I think it's a good warning for people. I mean, Daniel knew what he was doing. He knew the bulls. He had run before. Even the most experienced guys can get caught. You can't lose that respect for the bulls.
The Swelter is the loose ball. We have not yet had one in dramatic fashion yet at this Encierro, but describe what happens, because we've seen that the runs where the balls ultimately, thanks to you, stay fairly close and charge through. But the Swelters, when it stops, there's a mentality change, and the whole race changes from one that's run to one that's really stationary for occasionally for minutes.
For sure, they're primarily herd animals, and so as we've seen so far this year, for the most part, they stay in that pack. But when a bull gets separated, it becomes a primarily different animal. It seeks to establish its territory. It's disoriented. It does that. It establishes its territory by going after people around it, people that are too close to its area. As an experienced runner, you can tell the difference between people that are just freaked out because they don't know what's happening, and those that are actually running in proximity to the bulls. And you start to see some holes in the crowd, that space in front of the bulls, right? That crowd kind of moves away, and that's when you start picking up speed to get on the horns.
I realize the stones on the street, I mean, are so worn and slippery. In parts, it's like walking on a freshly polished linoleum. How much of a problem is basic traction?
It depends on what part of the route you're in. So the city actually started putting down something to dissolve all the junk that gets in the pores of the stone, so it has better traction. That happens at La Curva. It used to be that we had much worse turns there, but on Estafeta, as you can tell, they wash down those streets and they never get bone dry again.
This bull saw too many people. And
too many people on the course.
We'll see Dennis here.
Yeah, Dennis. Whoa, Dennis. Nice run. Nice run.
Rog.
Brave medic going eye to eye with danger. A little bit higher, nurse.